Ended the stream. Whoop. Not yet. I was going to end the stream. You know, that's what happens when people push buttons at the same time. We love pushing buttons, but always in a good way. That's why our clients hire us. But they don't know it at the time, but it's like, hey, I'm going to get a shirt that says I push buttons. So how are you, Vlyn?
I am excellent, Kathleen. Thank you. How are you?
You know, I am fantastic. I had a great workout, had a wonderful meal this morning, all plant based, and just really focusing on my health as I get older and looking at the direction we're taking things, which really has to do with today's topic, which is about collaborative partnerships. And it's about laying a proper foundation. In anything we do in life, we have to have a good foundation. You know, a lot of people don't necessarily focus on foundation, whether it be their health, their relationships, their home, their business. And truth be told, the stronger your foundation, the greater the result you're going to get. So what we're going to talk about today is collaborative partnerships and how to really set the foundation in place.
Absolutely. It's key. We often think as entrepreneurs, especially in starting our businesses, that we are solopreneurs and we have to do it all and we've got to do it alone. And honestly, that's the quickest place to get stuck. That's the quickest place to have all of this dialogue going on in our heads that, maybe I can do this, maybe this is the right way, this is the wrong way. So then we go and we hire an expensive coach. And that coach gives us some assurances about what they can do for us and with us. And then we're, 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, and we're looking at what we've accomplished and we're still by ourselves.
Right.
And one of the things that I learned early on was it's got to be easier than this. How can it be easier than this? And as God would have it, there came a billionaire coach who was offering an opportunity to learn his program and get certified as an accelerated business development coach. I jumped on it, and it was a year-long program, a year-long training program. Can you believe that?
I can. I definitely
And at the end of it, I felt like I was certified, qualified, and it answered the questions that I had about how you make this easier. Very simply, don't do it yourself. And with a coach, don't do it by yourself.
can. Right.
So one
Well,
of the beautiful things about what we're doing is in our partnering together, we're bringing our expertise together. We're doing things and lining things up and moving forward in a powerful way. And we're using our collaborative skills to bring in others into this partnership and creating collaborative events.
Well, I want to add something to that, what you said about, not doing it yourself and hiring a coach. When you hire a coach, use the coach. It never ceases to amaze me, people who will hire a coach and then they disappear. And it's like hiring the coach in and of itself doesn't solve the problem. And don't be afraid to ask the coach for what you need. I know that we've had occasion where we've had clients apologize for reaching out. It's like, why would you do that? And it's nothing that we've done. It's they're so used to doing it all by themselves.
Their
that
belief systems have them in that.
And also it has to be easier than this. I like that statement. And one way to make things easier is to know when to say no, to know when, because we all get invitations to do things, and it's really looking at what is a good fit for my goals, what is a good fit for the time constraints that I have, because we all have time constraints. We're not on unlimited time. And I just today got several invitations to do things, and I told the people I have other things going on. I just can't do it. And also, you want to look at where you are in your own business compared to where you were. For example, I've been in business 30 years. So what I need at 30 years is going to be very different than what I need at year one. So if somebody's sending me something that's real basic and, learn how to set goals, it's like, that's great, but I don't need to learn how to set goals. I need to learn more about strategic planning. I need to know more about visioning, things of that nature. So know what you need, know when to say no, and make it easier than this, because I think we do tend to complicate things quite a bit.
One of my coaches used to give me so many really great accolades. Lynn, you're brilliant. You've got this. Your ideas are so on point. And she said, brilliant people have this amazing tendency to complicate things. And when you complicate things, not only are you making more work for yourself, but we've all learned that rule. Keep it simple, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just keep it simple, sweetie pie. And sometimes it's hard to do, especially when you're somebody like me. I'm the mechanic. I'm the systems person. I'm the, geekish, wanting to see all of the details behind what's up front because I know what's behind there. And while you may have tendencies to need to have that information, that detail, and you may need to develop that detail, what you want to do still is to keep it as simple as possible.
Absolutely.
And you talk about foundational. I love the know who you are, where you are, what you need, and when to say no, and know when to keep it simple. Because again, on the backside of anything, you see the detail. That's not the place of simplicity, but it is on the front end. What your clients see, what your potential clients see and
Mm-hmm,
hear
mm-hmm,
from
mm-hmm.
you should be the simple. And the only way that you get there, in my opinion, is sometimes go through the more complicated, the
Right.
detailed, in order to scale down to the simple.
Well, and you're real good at that as far as really getting into the detail, getting in the weeds of things and explaining and having a reason why we're doing what we're doing, because I tend to be one of those that I want to jump right to the end. It's like, okay, let's just get to the result. Don't give me all the details. And yet the details are necessary. And what I love about the way that you actually work with me and with the team and with our clients is you'll explain things, and then we can figure out, okay, how do we get from A to Z a lot quicker through knowing what the details are? And, part of that whole foundational thing is in setting expectations. What are the expectations that we have of each other? What are the expectations that we have of our team? What are the expectations they have of us? What do we expect from our clients, and what do they expect from us? And one of the things that we are very clear on with this foundational piece is we have a very, very, I can't say jam-packed schedule, but we have a very robust schedule. And we plan things out to say, okay, if we're going to meet with somebody at X time, we do expect that we'll show up on time, they'll show up on time. And if that doesn't happen, then we just have a conversation around it. And that gets back into the foundation, because if you let things slip, it's like when I went to the gym today, I actually started using a log book for working out and marked what my weight was, how many reps I did, what exercise I did. And it was a little time consuming, but I thought this is going to give me a good foundation moving forward on what my expectations are on the outcome. Same with business. If you don't measure what you treasure, you're going to really miss the mark. And so I actually heard that earlier today, measure what you treasure. I've heard it many, many times, and that's part of your foundation piece. So let's talk about the foundational piece of collaborative partnerships, because we have a collaborative partnership. When you're working with a client, that is a collaborative partnership. We are working right now with some nonprofits that is a collaborative partnership where we're a for-profit and they're a nonprofit. Now, the misunderstanding people oftentimes have is when you say nonprofit, they think that the organization shouldn't make money. Nothing could be further from the truth. The organization has to make money, because without revenues coming in, without donations coming in, without memberships, whatever it may be, how can they function? And so part of the collaborative partnership that we create with the people we work with is, again, looking at that expectation. And part of the expectation is it realistic? For example, if we're working with somebody who let's say they're making $5,000 a month right now, and they want to make 50,000 within a month, probably not going to happen. That is not a realistic expectation. Part of the foundational piece is managing expectations, stretching people, but also saying, okay, let's take a look at that and see if that's really realistic. Or if it's somebody that has never made money before and now they're making money. I learned this in NLP. This is a take it to the bank tip. When I was going through my NLP training back in 1994, I can't believe it's been that long. But anyway, Susie Smith and Tim Holborn were my coaches. And they said, what you want to do when you're working with a client is or even if it's a friend that you're working with and they have an issue that they want to get some management around, document it. Because what happens is people have incredibly short memories and they forget what their issue was. And it could be smoking. And all of a sudden they're not smoking and they forgot they ever even were a really, really bad smoker. And they go, well, I never really had that big of a problem. It's like, document it, because then you can go back and say, well, actually, this is where you were. This is where you're at, and this is where you're going. So that's part of the foundational piece, is really manage those expectations and document where people are at.
And especially in business and with your team. One of the things that I've learned a while back, decades ago, was if you don't remind your team what they helped to accomplish, what they helped you accomplish, they're just thinking, what do I have to do now? And how can I get this done now?
Yeah.
Without really understanding what they contributed to that were part of the results that you have experienced in the past, whether it was last month, last quarter, last year. And in the corporate environment, it's pretty key when you're looking at quarterly activity. And a lot of my counterparts didn't let their team in on what not only the expectations were going forward. We've got quarterly goals of this, this, and this. Last quarter, we did X, Y, and Z. And, for me, with the high performance teams that I was working with and growing, we were also part of the main revenue stream for the entire company.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was important to me to let the team members know where we stood in a lot of aspects, not only with ourselves. So like for us, we've got ourselves as a client and we've got other clients.
Right.
It's important for our team to know what we did last quarter for our clients. We, VVP, were one of those clients, because a lot of times they'll focus on this client and that client, and we've been guilty of it as well. I mean, when you serve clients, you do want to have one of those foundational objectives, because you've set those expectations to be doing what you need to do to move your clients forward. And a lot of times when it comes to you and your business,
we're getting an alert. I'm going to put myself on mute. I'm trying to find.
Wait, I am too.
This is real-time alert. What was the alert for? I can't find it.
Real-time national alert.
Is it
They
an
were
Amber Alert?
testing the system.
Whew, that gave me a little bit of a heart palpitation. Oh my gosh. Okay, great example. Wow.
And here it is again. Only this one's in Spanish.
Okay. It's interesting, because that's a nice segue into what we're talking about, actually. A great example of
I was just
foundational
going to
work.
say the same thing. Yeah.
Look at what happened in Hawaii, where they didn't test the system, and an entire community was wiped out. And
You want
it's
to
like,
make that plural?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, this is part of the foundational work now, I think, that the government is putting in place, and uh, the fire departments, police departments. It's like you have to have those foundational pieces in place. But boy, that just gave me a little bit of a heart.
And we experience those things in business that call our attention from where we think we're going, where we
Right,
plan to go, and we have to make those adjustments to focus on whatever that emergency alert might be. And sometimes it's a quick fix, sometimes it just means, okay, let me take a look at it and I can deal with it
right,
later, or I need to shift and focus on it right now. Now, I want to take that back into something that you mentioned a little earlier about the nonprofit for-profit collaborative opportunity, and say that, to your point about nonprofits, the misnomer is in the name. They, while they may be named nonprofits, they are truly organizations that, if they don't make a profit, if they don't act like a business, which they are a business, they will not get the rewards in serving their constituents, serving their audience, serving their donors the way that they could. The
right,
only, the I'm not going to say the only, the biggest difference in a nonprofit and a for profit are that the nonprofit pays no taxes. And beyond that, they're operating as a business. They have their revenue streams. They have to strategize in order to know where their revenue's coming from, whether it's 100% donor funded or 50% donor funded. They have to have enough revenue coming in order to support their operations and pay their people. The same thing with a for-profit business. And if you're just paying yourself, you're paying your team, and the rest that is profit goes to you as the owner of the business, beautiful. If you've got a next level business where you're incorporated and you maybe have shareholders, even if you are the major
right,
shareholder, you really have to have those strategies in place to drive revenue so that you can make those returns and those payouts as a business does. So nonprofit, for profit, the biggest difference is the payment of taxes.
right.
Looking at it that way, there are some major, major benefits in nonprofits and for-profit organizations collaborating to do things, whether it's, and this was interesting too, a couple of days ago, somebody mentioned that you always want to do your marketing, and not all marketing is sales marketing, right? Marketing in a for-profit, nonprofit collaborative means that you're both getting visibility that you would not otherwise have had, because that's the strategy that you want to build to that result, that end. And if it's something that is involving revenue, there are certain strategies in nonprofit for-profit partnering that revenue to the nonprofit tax-free,
Right.
revenue to the for-profit may be taxable, depends on how it comes in. It could also be tax-free income. It just depends on how your relationship is doing that. And that's one of the things I'm so grateful that we've created an opportunity where, and more of the foundational of how partnerships, collaborative partnerships work, one in particular being the nonprofit for-profit partnering, and how you can make it work for you so that you've got revenue that's coming into the nonprofit organization that without the for-profit working with you, collaborating with you, you would not have. And flip the script. Working with the nonprofit on whatever it is that you're doing, you have the opportunity to bring revenue into your business that may in fact be non-taxable income. So, what we are lining out to share with our audience is how that all works. How can you, as a for profit business, get tax free money? How can you, as a nonprofit, increase your revenue stream by partnering with a for profit company? I'm so excited because I've been teaching this stuff for the past 13 years. And now to bring it to the vegan and healthpreneur market the way that we're doing it is amazing because you are typically the ones who will utilize this and make an amazing gain an amazing result from doing it. So, foundation is only where you start. Then you take it into strategy.
Right.
And that strategy is something that we want to share with you in our upcoming masterclass. So, Kathleen, tell people more about our masterclass.
Our master class is going to be how to partner between for-profits and nonprofits. And gosh, I am drawing a complete blank on the date, but we've got the URL.
October 11th.
I thought it was October 11th.
9 a.m. Pacific.
All right.
12 p.m. Eastern.
And
so bring your brunch, bring your lunch, bring your notepad and pen.
Absolutely.
Come hang out with us.
Here's the exciting part about working within the vegan space the way that we do. When people hear that you're in the vegan space, they assume that you're a nutritionist. We're not. We are business consultants. We're marketing strategists. We're visibility strategists. And that's what we teach our clients to do, is to get more visibility so they can be profitable, or more profitable, I should say. And, you're so right that within this particular niche, this market, there's a lot of opportunity to have a for-profit partner with a nonprofit, because there's sanctuaries, there's organizations that are looking for the opportunity to partner. And so I encourage people to go ahead. The URL is scrolling across the bottom. It's veganvisibility.com/VVP-MC-NP-FP. And we'll put that in the notes so that you can see it and it's easy to grab. But I really encourage people to look at where the trends in business are going, what you're doing. I want to take a step back on one thing you talked about, and it was communication with the team. We have a team that is phenomenal. You have done a great job in training the team. I've done some really great things with the team.
Yeah,
and together we've really made this work very nicely. And what we did we do a weekly team meeting, and that team meeting can go as much as 2 hours. And so it's not like check in, okay, great, goodbye, see you later. It's really getting into some training, into some detail. And on the most recent team meeting, both you and I showed the team the pieces that they were working on, how it all fit together. And we wanted every team member to see what other team members were doing. And, one project of going out and finding podcast listings, for example, that we have John who does that. And he has done a phenomenal job. Well, out of it, we have a directory that directory is now available for purchase for, believe it or not, $27. It's just so affordable. And there's 145 listings that he went through with a fine-tooth comb and made sure that those listings were accurate, that they're current, that the shows are active. And
just let me say one thing before you go on.
Absolutely.
These are shows and show hosts who are looking for guests. So we know who's looking, and not only are we doing that for our clients, that is a service that we provide for others. So
absolutely. And so when we brought it all together, because we had one team member who made the cover, we had another team member John, who got the listings, we had another team member who worked on some graphics. And so when it was all brought together with the landing page, with the actual the sales page, with the actual directory, with all the bonuses, with the access page, when we showed them the whole thing, you could just see that they were like, wow, look at how it all connects. And that's what we do with all the projects, is we show them how their piece fits into the overall big picture. Because if people are working in silos, if they're working by themselves, they may not realize how important their job is. And that's something that you really brought home the other day, V-Lynn, was you let them know this is such an important thing that you're doing, and we could not be where we're at without you. And I think that's important with team members, is that could be a team member that is a consultant, that you've hired a consultant, let them know when they've done a great job. Don't just point out what they're not doing right, point out what they're doing right. or wrong. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay. So I need a little more tea here, but quite seriously, it's like really give the accolades when they're earned, and even at times just say thank you. Thank you for being a part of our company. Thank you for being a part of the relationship that we have. So, with that, we've gone over our time, but we're going to be talking in more detail about collaborative partnerships, specifically between for-profit and nonprofit organizations, how you can help each other gain more visibility, gain more donations, gain more memberships, gain more revenues, and do more of what you're here to do. And that's what I love about being in the vegan space is we're helping organizations, small and large, get their message out there in a bigger way.
Beautiful. Yes. So join us. There's so much more that we could talk about, but we're going to limit ourselves to this right now. And we're going to look forward to seeing you next time and at the masterclass. So bye for now.
Bye for now.